Welcome to Run With It, Canada's running fitness and health program. On this month's episode, I was in conversation with Dr. BobWeil about the benefits of orthotics and more, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's go to our segment on the benefits of mindfulness tips. Check this out. I'm excited to have back on the show Janine Naman. She's a holistic therapist specializing in yoga therapy and EFT. And she's back on the show to talk about mindfulness and her new book. Welcome back, Janine.
Great. Thanks for having me back, Christine. Always great to be here.
Yes. So EFT is
emotional freedom technique, otherwise known as tapping.
Tapping.
Yeah.
So let's talk about mindfulness. Define mindfulness.
It's a type of meditation that really is being aware of what we're doing while we're doing it and really sensing our emotions and the sensory input around that activity.
Yes, mindfulness is like, but it's hard to sit still. You have to be present, correct?
Yeah, it is all about presence. Yeah. Actually, I like to use mindfulness as a gateway to meditation. So for many people, we've heard the wonderful benefits of meditation. And we've also heard that meditation is really about emptying the mind of all thoughts. But for a lot of us, that's overwhelming. I mean, we have thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts on any given day. And most of us are really busy brain, me included. And so the thought of going from, thousands of thoughts to nothing is really overwhelming. So the mindfulness is such a great piece that I really use with my clients because it begins to really center you and calm you down and really begins to help you sort of master your thoughts, right? Because when we are especially stressed out, our minds can actually get caught in a loop. It's like we're singing the same song over and over and over again. And I think we've all experienced that. Say you had a fight with your boss or with your loved one, and all of a sudden, all you can think about is the situation, and you can think about, what happened or what's going to happen tomorrow. So we get caught in this thinking of the past or thinking of the future, and we get caught in this loop. They actually say that 95% of our thoughts are the same thoughts we had the day before.
Really? 95%?
Yeah, 95%. Can you imagine? And so if you had something negative going on, you can imagine that you can actually get caught in a negative thought loop and really be there for a long time. So mindfulness is really about observing the moment without judgment. Like that's the key. So you think about, okay, what am I doing? What am I sensing? And just really have a very neutral awareness of it.
Yes. So it's hard though to sit and be present and observe. Like how does one start?
So one of my very favorite ones, it's called the 5 senses, and it works really great with kids. So I know it's going to work great with adults. I don't work with kids, but I know some of my clients, they've used it with their children and they said it works really great. It's the 5 senses. And so for us, that's something that we're very familiar with, the 5 senses. So what I ask clients to do, and I work mostly online these days, so this is really perfect for people I'm working. And one of them is just to observe where you are. Look around the room. And I get technical, right? Like, because we could look around and be like, yeah, I see this and that. But I say, no, how many different colors can you see in the room? How many different shapes can you see in the room? Like what catches your eye in the room? Yeah. And then I get people to kind of describe it to me. And then next it's like, well, what do you hear in the room? Can you hear an air conditioner? Is there someone in the other room? Or, that kind of thing. What can you smell? Maybe you had candle burning, or maybe someone's brewing coffee, or maybe you can smell the shampoo on your hair, right? And then the other one is a little more obscure, but it's taste. But, just even if your answer is, I have no idea, I can't taste anything, that's still an awareness. You're still slowing your mind down to tune in to actually see like, maybe is my breakfast still on my tongue, or maybe my toothpaste? And the last is, what can I feel? And it's not so much emotional. It's like, can I feel the air around the room? Can I feel the clothing on my skin? Can I feel my jewelry on my body? Can I feel the glasses? And it's really amazing because it just instantly calms people down. It just right in that moment, because you're not judging and saying, oh yeah, I can feel my back and it really, really hurts, or, that kind of thing. You're really thinking just in that present moment, and the mind just goes really, really calm. And you can even leave it there, or you can take it further. And really, the objective is it's still called mindful, right? Mind is full. That really, eventually, you really want to master and to be able to really calm the mind even deeper, so that your thoughts become more distance in between your thoughts, and that you can really notice when a thought comes up and then come back into that quiet place. And it's practice.
Yes.
It's practice. Yeah, it's practice. It's not something that, for me, it took a long time to master, because I'm a busy brain. I'm a self-confessed busy brain. When I wake up in the morning, my brain is, and I fire off. So for many years when I started, my practice, meditation was always this, something a little elusive, to just be able to sit for 20 minutes and sit still. And, when I was a kid, I was always wiggly and jiggly, and I was that kind of kid, right? I think you're sort of talking about that with yourself as well. Yes. But the mindfulness really helped me to lead to a more formal practice.
But when do you see results?
I've done this practice, the 5 senses, with someone instantaneously in that moment, and I can actually see them calm down immediately. And we know that calming down is not just, oh, okay, I feel better. In that moment, what's really happening is our breath is calming down, our heart rate is coming down, our blood pressure is coming down. When they know this, our pain levels come down. It helps us to sleep better. And there's tons of science really around the benefits. It's not just, oh yeah, I feel good. It just, even in that few moments of just, again, even that mindfulness of the 5 senses, really just centers and calms us down immediately.
Yes. And, I feel like, as I said, it improves the quality of life, but also too that it's for everyone.
Well, most mindful meditations are usually around breath, right? To just notice your breath, inhale, you're inhaling, you can feel it. You exhale, you're exhaling, you can feel it. And then what I like to do is sort of add a number on that. So I go inhale, exhale 1, and then you try to get from 1 to 10 without being distracted.
Yes.
And you got to be honest with yourself. If you start thinking about your grocery list or something, go back to the beginning and start again. So it actually improves our cognitive function as well, because it really improves our quality of concentration, because we really are very distracted.
Yes.
Right. And plus, I don't know if this has ever happened to you. I know it's happened to me and maybe some of your viewers, but sometimes we do activities without being aware that we're even doing it. I don't know if you've ever, been driving in your car and you got to your destination and you don't remember actually really getting there, because we're just in this perfunctionatory way of being. We already know how to drive, and the body knows how to drive. And our mind is thinking about everything else but driving sometimes. Or, we can do that with, like, we're eating and watching TV, or, talking with friends, and we're not even really paying attention to each bite that we're taking. So mindfulness can actually be brought in very quickly every single day. You can be mindfully washing dishes. You could be mindfully eating. You could be mindfully driving your car. You could be,
or running.
Mindfully
yes.
running. Going back to that, that's actually great that you put that in there, talking, because I work a lot with stress management with my clients, and one of the things that clients will say, they go, well, I know that walking and running are so good for your stress, but I still feel stressed out. What's going on? And I always say to them, what are you thinking about when you're running? What are you thinking about when you're walking? And they go, oh, oh, that's the problem. I'm like, it doesn't do you any good if you're still thinking about all your problems while you're running. But instead, the great part about running and walking is it gets you outside.
Yes.
And that's the best place to be mindful. When you're running, is smelling, taking those deep breaths, smelling, the forest, or smelling the trees, and looking at the grass and the people running by you, and paying attention to the sensations in your body, and all those great things. So it's really, they work so well together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And practice, because you'll get there and improve your quality of life. And Janine, let's talk about your new book.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So really, part of the reason I decided to write this new book is because it just kind of goes back to what we were saying about nature. My new book is really about reconnecting with Gaia. So I call Earth Gaia, and it's really about that connection with Gaia. So us as human beings for thousands and thousands of years really had a very symbiotic relationship with Earth. We lived on the land, and we really were stewards of the land, and we gave reverence to the land and had a really deep connection. And then, throughout the years, especially after the Industrial Revolution, we really started losing this connection. And what we do know now is that even though technology is wonderful, TVs, computers, laptops, what they actually do is they actually disrupt our biomagnetic field. So human beings are electrical. And what we do know now is that they actually disrupt our electrical field. And the science is actually going back to saying that the Earth gives off an electromagnetic field, and that when we spend time outside, that is actually medicine. Yeah. And so the book is really about talking about the elements, the 5 elements, and they're earth, water, fire, air, and then one called ether, which is a gas. And it's really about using and thinking about the 5 elements in a way of, these 5 elements are within me, and how can I tap into them so that I could have a better relationship with Earth, with Gaia, and at the same time improving my overall health and well-being. Because again, like I said, the research is actually showing more and more and more that being outside is medicine.
It's wonderful. And when will the book be available?
Hopefully spring. Yeah. Hopefully by spring, yeah.
And you have another book too.
I do.
Living Secrets to Natural Health and Wellness.
Yeah.
Tell us about that one.
Well, that one was a collaboration. Yeah. So there was 6 authors, and that's really more about my personal story of how I got started in this world, the yoga world, because I've been doing this for over 16 years now, and that's really a little bit more about that, where this new book is kind of where my passion really lies. I'm kind of an earth mama, if you will, and being outside and doing activities outside, like I ride my bike, I hike, I kayak, I garden, and it really has saved my life, really, for me, and has really changed my personal life in so many different ways. So my passion is always sharing. That's, why I started teaching yoga, because I thought, man, if I could do this, anybody can do this. So it's about sharing my passion of my connection to Earth with other people so that we can feel our best. And so that realizing that sitting in front of your computer for 6 hours a day, 5 days a week is going to have a consequence. And that it's okay that you have to do that, but you have to know that you need to take steps to counteract that. You need to get outside and put your feet on the grass. You need to, go look at something beautiful outside. Go look at the mountains. Go for a walk. Breathe in fresh air. That those pieces are who we are as human beings. It's our nature, and we've forgotten about that.
That's wonderful. And is there anything else you'd like to add, Janine?
Well, if any of your viewers reach out to me via my website, innerglowtherapy.ca, I'm going to give them a free practice. That's part of my new book. Yeah, it's called Get Grounded and Feel Better. And so it's really about teaching us how to ground ourselves down into the earth. And really, it's a simple practice, but it's part of my new book. And so I'll be sending that out to anybody that reaches out to me.
Thank you for being a guest today, and I'd like you to come back.
Of course, I'm always happy to be here.
Nature Mama.
Yeah, Nature Mama, you got it. Thanks, Christine.
We have back on the show Dr. Bob Weil, and he's back for the Sports Doctor is In segment. Welcome back, Dr. Bob.
Hey, Christine, it's always fun to be back with you and talk a little sports medicine, etc. on Run With It. So it's great to be back.
Yes, and this month we're going to be talking about orthotics. And what a great topic. And congratulations on your recent article, which was last month in MVP Parent Magazine.
Yes, we're very excited about that magazine. It's really evidence-based, everything in the world of youth sports. Orthotics are as important for someone who's very active athletically as they are for a grandma to try to prevent falls, as they are to try to deal with the weekend warrior, et cetera, et cetera. Done properly, orthotics help align the foot ankle, that complex ball and socket-like joint that allows us to absorb shock and allows us to push off and everything in between. So briefly, the terms people and runners know by heart, pronation and supination, these are normal motions, but they're complex. They're ball and socket-like motions that allow the foot to absorb shock when we first land on the heel, walking. They allow the foot to shape to the ground, everybody. Imagine yourself walking barefoot on the grass. Your foot adapts to the surface, and your body is rotating inward, your knees, to act as a pogo stick to absorb impact. And that pronating action continues till you bear weight. Once you bear weight, everything changes. The body rotates externally as the foot lines up, that's our big toe, to what's called supinate, push us off like a spring lever. And very often that timing is limited or affected by someone who's got excessive pronated or flat feet. Somebody might have high arches, somebody's knock-kneed or has one leg longer than another. So orthotics fit into that category to help properly support the foot, yes, but very importantly, act as a positioner so that we are supinating on time. If you're pushing off the ice with a triple jump, hey, all my figure skaters out there, you better be lined up. So, how's your foundation? Your foot ankle is your foundation. Orthotics is one of our best weapons to put that foundation in its best position.
So that would be the secret ingredient to enhancing performance and to prevent injuries and for all ages.
It doesn't replace being in the proper shoe. It doesn't replace knowing what your history or your son or daughter's history is. Why does my daughter's knees hurt her every time she starts soccer season? Or what is it with my son's heels that are bothering me? Or what about my plantar fasciitis, the inflammation of the arch and heel is the most common symptom we see in active people. And runners are number one with plantar fasciitis, excessive stress on the arch. And this is when many times we'll see that paying attention to alignment makes big sense. And one of the things I want to get across to all of our Run With It friends is if you have persistent, ongoing lower extremity problems, your back, your knees, your hips, your feet and ankles, then you want to look at podiatry and the role of orthotics, which can be very, very helpful. Again, and number one, like you said, preventing problems, especially overuse problems. It's in the running world where you're hitting the ground the same way hundreds of times, time after time, with 2-3 times your body weight. So if we've got biomechanical imbalances, 85% of us have biomechanical imbalances. Examples I just gave you: pronated feet, The foot affects everything else above. It's like the song that I sing every time I'm on your show. Foot bones connected to the ankle bones, connected to the knee bone. So it's not, people ask all the time, do I need orthotics? Do my children need? And many times we say, let's consider whether we would benefit. Will we prevent trouble? Half the knee problems I see in running, jumping, people, half the knee problems in girls are foot related, where we're using orthotics because of knee problems, because of the biomechanics with wider hips, more of an angle down to the knee, and sometimes more rotation. So again, we ask runners, we ask active people, or parents or coaches to be a good listener to yourself, as well as your particular athletes, and talking about, do you have chronic problems? Orthotics can be made many times. This is an example of an unbreakable, flexible plastic that might be in somebody's shoes for 10 years, from their loafers to their running shoes to their tennis shoes. Sometimes we'll cover devices full shoe like I'm showing you. But the key to orthotics is this measuring of the positioning of the joints. I still use cast molds of the feet. I'm a dinosaur. I find it's the most precise. But today there's lots of different molds that are used, scanners that are used, and they're getting better and better, 3D technology. But again, you're talking about complicated joints of the foot ankle. Very commonly, there are imbalances. Again, whether you inherited flat feet from your mom and your grandparents, or whether you inherited high arches, or if you have a history of your feet bothering you. What fools us many times posturally, Christine, is that many times still, if the feet don't hurt, the role of the foot and the rest of the body is ignored.
Thanks for watching. If you have a question or comment about today's episode, go to our website, which is runwithit.ca. Until next time, run with it. Run With It is sponsored by the BC Sports Hall of Fame, Mallory's Fashion Network, and Inner Glow Therapy.